Good morning. Welcome to the trade setup right here on BloombergQuint Live. I think we got some glitch in the earlier one, but this is now we're going live with the trade setup. So good morning, and it appears to be a fairly placid day for the world markets at large. Nothing major happening either direction. First, what the U.S. markets did overnight, precious little again. Quiet as she goes, and I think, well, you could argue they ended at record highs, but it's a very quiet day. I think the futures as of now are pointing towards a quiet start as well. Now, something that got our attention, and I tweeted about it earlier any which ways, but look at this chart. It shows how for the last 10 months now, the S&P 500 has not had a very sharp drawdown, 5% pullback. Yeah, that's what the chart is saying. So in the period of 2016 to 18, so for a better part of 2017, it was a less volatile world, not a single 5% pullback for 20 months. Now, it gets extended to about 10 months. So it's not as long as the previous one, but 10 months is a really long time without having a big, large pullback. Now, this is what buoys people into thinking that, oh, a pullback is around the corner. Hey, guys, what if it gets extended the way it did in 2017? Who knows? Yeah, I think that the point that Vikas Khemani was making, it was making from an Indian context, but everybody expects this 10% drawdown. What if that 10% drawdown doesn't happen at 16,500, but happens at 17,500? Who knows, right? You could argue, you could smirk, you could scoff at it, but from 15,000 odd levels, I've been waiting and I've been hearing about this pullback news. It doesn't really happen. Anyways, let's wait and watch. Asia today, again, I would reckon that would be very, very quiet. So no big moves. Well, even the Kospi, which is corrected about 0.5%, has not really had a big move. Remember, South Korea did raise interest rates. It's now become the first major Asian economy to hike rates. Now, that is why the conversation around whether a rate hike in India also is coming sooner rather than later will get very, very loud. And naturally, so there'll be a chorus. Earlier, it was what Norway, New Zealand, and some of the other central banks, select central banks did. Now, Korea gets added to that list, and therefore the chorus for, oh, what if the rate hikes happen, will become louder. But let's wait and watch. I think, again, out here, the chorus has been very loud for a long time. It hasn't happened till date. So let's wait and watch. SGX Nifty would probably indicate a start which is flattish. Yeah, about 23 odd points in the red. It could well be in the green, but a flattish start anticipated. I frankly believe that that's frankly the order of the day. So let's first get the trade set up and out, and then we'll probably try and have a look at some individual charts too. So fun. I personally believe that markets will, unlikely that it'll make any dramatic moves out of the Jackson Hole meet. Frankly, for the S&P 500 two viewers yesterday was in terms of volumes, the second lowest day in the last 5 years. That tells you how quiet the markets are ahead of Jackson Hole. When one looks at our own markets and considering that we are now expiry day, the market-wide rollovers were higher than averages, 77%, if I'm not wrong, versus 75%. But the tech rollovers were definitely higher than anticipated, or higher than averages, sorry, not anticipated, higher than averages, which shows that people are comfortable rolling over the long positions in technology to the next series. So some confidence out there. And I think yesterday there was some bit of tinkering with sugar. The FRP increase happened. A lot of people thought, oh, is that the death knell? Frankly, such a measly uptick in the FRP any which ways. So it's in line with expectations, and it's not a negative surprise to my mind. Other than that, something that I've tried to do today, it may not happen every time, but oil and gas had a bunch of news. So I just tried to bunch them up together into what would be the oil and gas pointers to be monitored today. So demand for ATF apparently is moved up higher, and therefore I reckon that the price surge might also happen because of pickup in tourism in India. So the aviation turbine fuel has inched up higher because of India tourism demand. So that is part one. Oil has steadied today after a 3-day up move. US stockpiles have fallen. And I think a bunch of very smart money managers are now bracing themselves for a revision in gas prices. And therefore, they're doing long positions in upstream oil. You saw some bit of positioning there in Oil India. Now, this may well fizzle out too, but keep in mind, if the price hikes or the price revisions are, ONGC says maybe 60%, some people say about 100%. If they're between 60 and 80%, that's a significant bump up in prices and therefore earnings for upstream gas providers. ONGC is the mothership really in terms of gas production. Oil India is a much smaller play, but as a proportion, gas could be interesting for them as well. So do watch out for some of these oil and gas related pointers. Yesterday, a bunch of stocks moved in the market. It was okay, ho-hum really, but you got to watch out for what's happening within pharmaceuticals because that was the pocket that was active in trade yesterday as well. We had a bunch of these city gas distributors being active too in trade yesterday. So those are the nature of the stocks that were okay. Yeah, the MOE function, as I said, advance decline ratio fairly decent. And if you just look at the set of winners, all over the place, right? Venky's went up suddenly, Great Eastern Shipping went up suddenly, General Insurance getting, New India Insurance about 7%, but a mixed bag as you see on the gaining side. On the losing side again, Havells because of that note from BofA corrected about 5%, Canara Bank post QIP 3%, RJ's name didn't do anything to it, India's real estate corrected about 3%. So a mixed bag of trade. You never know which way it would turn up in the session today. Some stocks that you should keep in mind. Bharti Airtel firmly in focus. The announcement yesterday was a bit of a surprise to most people, most intelligent minds, let me put it that way. They've said that there is a board meet on August 29 to consider capital raising options via equity or equity linked and or debt instruments. This is a big surprise. Now, why could this be happening? Could it be for 5G? Could it be for getting ammo for V and acquiring more customers from V or Vodafone? Or could it be Indus? And I think all possibilities out there, all nature of instruments out there, and whether it is used for debt refinancing, that is also out there. Now, who's to assume? I don't know. But we thought the Jeffries note summed it up very well. So here's what Jeffries is saying when it comes to the Bharti Airtel announcement. And they too are expressing it as a bit of a surprise, that they're saying that the capital raising announcement has come as a bit of a surprise. Now, it may to enhance capacity in anticipation of a large market shifts from VIE of V, and that should be seen positively according to them. Any stake bought in Industars may be seen negatively. Keep this at the back of your mind, this template at the back of your mind. Of course, they may just do debt refinancing is what somebody else also told me. So you never know. For a stock that was supposed to do really well, and I usually see this happening with Airtel, 625, 630 tends to hit a bit of a air pocket and then bounce back. This is what's happened this time around as well. Maybe this announcement could be taken negatively. Do watch out for the stock today. Palm oil prices are in focus. They are at record highs, and therefore a bunch of these companies would be in focus. Marico gets impacted negatively, and they'd mentioned in the interview as well that they believe that the palm oil prices have bottomed out. Clearly, for now, they don't seem to be doing that. Britannia is the other one which is in focus, again gets impacted negatively. Godrej Agrovet gets impacted positively, viewers, but in the con call they said that the entire benefit of this palm oil price uptick doesn't get reflected in their books because some of it gets eaten up, some higher taxes, what have you. So if you're going naked long Godrej Agrovet, logically you should, but the results and the con call summary suggests that it doesn't quite play out that way. So please be intelligent if you're going out and either shorting a Marico or going long an Agrovet. It may not necessarily play as per script, but these are the companies that usually get impacted because of higher palm oil prices. Now, P&G Hygiene and Healthcare, the numbers were a bit disappointing, viewers. So the revenue numbers were very strong, up 24%, much higher than estimates, but EBITDA, recurring PAT, all significantly below estimates. Gross margins were okay, but EBITDA margins were very poor. Recurring PAT also very poor, and Motilal Oswal's note out there is decent. I think it sums it up well. Bringing this up because this is the only result that has come out today, or rather overnight, and naturally so because the result season is over. So Motilal Oswal says that while valuations at 44 times are in line with stable peers, it has a stronger top line and earnings track record, best of breed structural earnings growth potential, and of course, maybe ROEs that will improve. So they maintain the buy rating with the target price of 15,530, targets about 50 times September 23 EPS. If you believe in this, maybe you want to go out and buy. It's a very stable company, by the way, much more like how the typical FMCG names are. They don't necessarily move at the rate of a north, so to say. So quite maybe for P&G Hygiene, but the numbers certainly below estimates. If it reacts negatively, I really doubt it'll have a big negative reaction, but if it does, you know why. The interesting one is Tattva Chintan Pharma. The CFO resigned yesterday. One would have thought that maybe there was some reaction yesterday, but Tattva Chintan Pharma was in the green yesterday. But today, the anchor book lock-in opens. We know what happened to Zomato. Could the same happen to Tattva Chintan? I don't know. People are sitting on gains. So you might well see the stock see some intense selling pressure today. I don't know if it'll happen or not. Maybe the anchor investors don't want to sell. Zomato was a different kettle of fish. I have no idea really. Who knows, by the way, right? Who knows? But yeah, it's a stock to keep in mind. If it starts reacting negatively, you know that there's some bit of selling pressure. Look at the volumes, look at the kind of pattern that happens today. You will get the answer. So that's one more interesting name. And I just thought one brokerage call was pretty good, and I wanted to bring it out to you. There was also a call on Gujarat Gas, but I'm leaving that out because that didn't matter as much, if you will, right? So Gujarat Gas, we've spoken about it yesterday as well on the City note. Remember that City's bought on Gujarat Gas, so that was interesting. But have a look at the note on Voltas. So Jefferies has come out with a note on Voltas, and they are saying, and I quote, that a buy and the target price has been raised to 1,200 rupees. They said that Voltas has announced the Voltbek JV with a large outlay, and it will be viewed as a material value creator only over 4 to 5 years, and now believe are close to the turning point. Their estimates factor Voltbek reaching PBT break-even by FY25. They raised their FY22-24 EPS by 2 to 5% to reflect reduced losses. It's not a near-term trigger, but they've rated a buy, and the target price has been raised to 1,200. Do watch out for Voltas today. Last thing what stood out for me was the massive collections on the NFO by SBI Mutual Fund. Their Balance Advantage Fund closed yesterday. They collected 12,000 crores in that fund. Retail is active, and how? Of course, the Balance Advantage Fund balances between equity and debt, but no doubt, a large portion of this money will be deployed in equities. Boy, I tell you, Indian retail is very, very active. Maybe that's good news. Nevertheless, viewers, thanks so much for tuning in today. Stay safe. Watch out. It's the FN expiry date, so it's a bit of a high risk zone if you're trading futures on the index. So please be careful. And if you're stepping out, be even more careful and stay masked up.